All right. So I'm recording the call so that those that aren't able to get on can review it in the team building page on Facebook. But we do have Linda and Reba and Brandon here, and we're going to review a couple things. So first of all, who was able to listen to the calls? Reba, were you able to listen to the calls?
Yes, I had listened to them before, just like 3 of them, but I listened to all of them.
You listened to 10?
Yes.
Yay! So I was just telling my mom, like, you had a successful class, and some of the
And I
things,
didn't know what I was doing.
but some of the calls had already taught you some of the things to do prior to the class.
Yeah.
And then some of the things, I was like, hey, Reba, go back and listen to that call. So it doesn't matter if you don't do the perfect class the first time, you're going to have practice. And if you listen to the calls, you're going to learn the things to do. But after Reba had her great class, she was like, oh, okay, I see why she said not to do this. And I see why she said not to do that. And I said, hey, Reba, remember that keychain thing? It doesn't work if you gave out all the samples at the end of the class because then they have no reason to hold the class and get a sample bottle filled. I was like, oh, yeah. But it didn't matter. She has a successful class. She's following up with her people. And the whole point is Reba, Linda, y'all have heard training before. And now, like, Linda hasn't listened to all of them, but Reba has said, listening to these calls is short, specific, and telling you exactly what you need to do each step of the way. From making a list, contacting people, sampling people, holding the class, building beyond that. So what the goal is I'm going to assign about 5 calls a week, and you will go through them. I block them together on each topic, right? And it's going to walk you through learning how to do things the most effective way. So I just want to share my screen so that we can review some of the things that she had talked about. Let's see. First of all, well, I'll go to this first. Okay.
Stacy, while you're doing that, I just want to say I love the calls. They're so helpful.
Oh, good. Yeah. I just want people, because some people haven't started being able to listen, or they only listen to a couple. And that really is important because other people need to hear what they think, or like what you see in them, why they are successful. You know what I mean? So that more than one person's point of view can share that. So anyway, I'm glad that I know that you are like, man, that was perfect. You know, that helped and stuff like that. So, hey, Jace. Okay. So the first thing that she does, we're just reviewing a couple of the calls, just little tidbits. And if you listen to them on Audible, you can, you can be, that's Jason again. You can be listening to them on Audible. So like if you're driving or you're doing something, you can listen to it while you're cooking, whatever. Jason, that's how he listens to you. But if you come home and you go to the site, it's dailymentorcalls.com. You can scroll through the call, right? And at the end of it, it has the words and the things that she wants you to do, right? So just for the first thing, she has you go through, and she has you, let me see if this is this. No, okay. She has you go through and make a names list, right? Let me just stop sharing because I want to just show up this other thing real quick. Share. And okay, so here's your memory jogger, and she has this link, but this is on doTERRA's site, but this is a memory jogger just to help you think of people that you might, you know, not be thinking of or whatever. So she just wants you to go through and write down all the people, and it has family, people are accountants, you know, all these different things that are possibly there. People that sold you things, people that are dentists, whatever. She's having you just go through and think of different people, right? Okay, after you make that list, then we go back to this. This is what she wants you to do. Rank the people on your list. 1, give a point for any of these things. If they're female, they get a point. If they have a money need, or they need a time, or they have a big purpose, give them another point. If they're the age of 30 to 55, give them 1 point. Natural things. The reason why you said if they've ever sold you something is because then they obviously have sales experience, or they're a business owner, if they're socially influential, and if they have a supportive spouse. They do not have to have all 7, but if you listen to the call, she will go through why they're important. These are just the 7 criteria that statistically give you the best results of having a good builder. They do not have to have all 5. So there's obviously men that do it. There's obviously people that are under 30 or over 55, but just those are the top, okay? The next thing, she wants you to write down next to each person, whether you're going to talk to them in person, whether you're going to do a phone call, a text, an email, or you're going to message them through social media, right? She literally tells you what to say when you start contacting them. So there's really no way that you do not know how to go and talk to the person and do it the effective way. So in person, this is what you say. I've been thinking about you, blah, 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 blah. Okay, she goes through everything of what to say. And these are tried. She's like, do not change them. Just read word for word. And I've literally had people come back and say, I texted 10 people. Everybody responded, yes. Just stick to what she's done, okay? So this is why I'm saying it's so simple to do. Then she goes through, this is actually, you didn't go to this call, but I'm gonna have y'all listen to these calls, because when I did her training, this was also part of the initial thing. Because when you start contacting people and you start asking them about the business, oh, the other thing is she wants you to, when you rank them and you decide how you're gonna contact them, the other thing is she wants you to consider, oh, here it is. I knew it was somewhere. If you're going to do a product approach with that person or a business approach. So in other words, if you just think it's thinking of them because you know they have allergies, or you know that they want to be healthy and you have something to share with them, or if you think this person is definitely going to want to do this as a business and you're going to approach them that way. She has a direct way to approach them regardless of either one. So you have their name, you give them a number next to their name, and then you give them how you're going to approach them, business or product, and then you go through the script. You want to start sampling and contacting the 5s through 7s first, okay? You want to try to have as many of those as you're starting to build your business. And the reason why is you want to get some of those capable people and some of those committed people to be on your first line underneath you, okay? You want that because the end goal is to have a pipeline, and not for you, just like you don't want 100 people on your top line and they all come to you. That's why doTERRA makes it better for you to build down. It's because you want to have capable and committed people that you're going to train. And then the next one, they're going to get their other people. And if you do place someone underneath them, that person's going to be able to help them, and they're going to be capable to train and work with them and stuff like that. You don't want yourself to have to be the go-to for everyone, right? And I've experienced that myself by building under other people. The people don't know them, and they all come to me. Now, if they're customers or something like that, it's fine. But really, you want to be able to not spread yourself thin. You want to find capable and committed people that will duplicate this and start going through the training process and learn how to build and be successful themselves. So then you really don't have to keep on working. One day you're just talking to those 6 people that are on the top of your line, and they manage their own groups and you're handling your own people, right? So if we find the people that are committed and they're going to do their 100 and they're going to learn stuff, the people that are capable just means they know how to talk to people and they attract people and they can enroll people. But capable and committed is what you want for your top line. Your top line only, right? If they're capable or committed, you want them on your second line, because you don't want to build under somebody and next thing you know, they fail and they're not, you know, you're having to, this is what Allyse said. She had somebody there, and I've had this too. They've enrolled like 50 people. They are very capable and people love them, but they weren't committed to training. They didn't want to learn how to do the system, create a lifestyle, show people LRP, show them how to change their life. And so, you know what? The people didn't stay. They didn't have a reason to. They didn't know about the products in the home. They didn't understand what all doTERRA had to offer. So they just kind of, and so I asked her to have them contact me. I would do a lifestyle overview, but that's the thing. I misunderstood. She was committed. She would do her 200, 100 PV orders, but she wasn't committed to learning and being duplicatable. She didn't want to learn systems. And with Allyse, she said when that happened to her, all of a sudden there's 40 or 50 people that now don't have a leader and they're looking for someone to guide them and lead them. So either she or her leader had to stop and kind of slow their growth because they had to spend all their time with those people and try to train them up suddenly because nobody was there to train them. So that's why on your first line, now of course at first you're going to start with whoever, but eventually you just want to put people under those until you find the very next person that's capable and committed. So Paul 43 talks about who you're looking for and see who to first put on your first level, your second level, and your third level. And like she said, and the third level is where they're just going to be customers or they're just going to be sharers. They're just going to share with some people, but they're not really, going to go through all the system and learning everything and all that. But the reason is just making sure that you have a stable business. And so I'd like to put you and spare you through some of the pains that I had to go through. So that's why I just want everybody to we're going to bust through these calls as quickly as we can. But occasionally I'm going to throw in some of the calls like this is 43 and this is 44. And it talks about the mistakes we make when we place people. So putting sharers on your front line. It's kind of some of the things that I was talking about. So I'm not going to play them, but I'm just going to ask you to go ahead and listen to those as well. And that's all about that. So I know that Reba, she started her names list. And Reba, did you rank everybody? I know a while back you were like, I'm ranking my people.
I have not ranked everybody yet. Okay. I got busy with life.
Yeah.
But I've kept sampling and talking to people about the oils the whole time. Like, I think my family thinks I'm a crazy oil fanatic. My son just got sick and missed a basketball game, and some of the moms were texting me and they're like, oh no, I hope it's not the flu or strep throat. And I'm like, I got this. And he went back the next day and played in the game and was like 100%. Well, he said 90% better. So in one day. And I texted the moms, oh, I used my oils, I did this and that and this and that, and they'll eventually get invited to a class. But anyway, yeah, I got my list, and then people like on Facebook that post stuff about their illnesses, I'm like, ding, opportunity, let me message them.
That's right. That's how you do. You just are visual and you just start sharing, right? Mm-hmm. And now the calls that we listened to the last time, that's what I'm saying. Just start ranking the people. But in the meantime, Reba has been sampling people. And then I had to tell her one sample, one thing, let them have the good experience. And then they'll either, they're enrolled to get what they need. And then if they have something else, they'll get it on their own. We don't have to keep on giving and giving and giving, Let them have a good experience. Then we'll get them in a class. They'll be ready and they'll know the different things. But, and I was telling my mom that today too. I was like, don't leave tons of stuff there. In a day or two, they are going to see the difference. Now, I'll update you on that too. So Jaden started feeling a lot of anxiety again, and she's doing the cleanse because she has delayed it for a while. So she was kind of like, oh, this is taking so much longer. And she has a hard time being consistent. So we had a talk, and she said, I either want to go to a counselor or I just want to talk to you because I have trouble not caring for myself and I need to learn how to be consistent. And I said, okay, well, if you need to go to a counselor, I'll take you to a counselor. But honestly, if you talk to me and your dad, we can sit here, and the ultimate goal for the counselor is to help you figure it out on your own. Like, no matter if you go to the counselor or not, you still got to come home and be accountable for taking the pills and doing the cleanse. So what if we just create the system that helps you do that? So she was like, okay. So she took the adaptive last night. Now she's taken it before, but she didn't really need it at that time, and now she's needing it again. So she, after the talk yesterday, she's like, yeah, tonight I'm going to do it, and I'm going to just set an alarm, and I'm going to practice making sure that I don't have an excuse. I just make myself take care of myself. And she's like, so every night I'm just going to put the pill right by my nightstand, so it's not like, oh, I don't feel like getting out of bed. And I said, there you go, create a system, and then you'll get used to being in the habit. So I talked to her today, and, she got ready, and she's like, yeah, I took it and everything like that. So when she came home this afternoon, she said, Mom, I really am amazed at how quickly the adaptive works. Like, I knew it worked before, but now that I'm in a position where I actually need it, you're right. I've been on medicine before. Usually it takes a few days to kick in, and this doesn't. And I said, right, because that's medicine. Those chemicals have to build up and then be in your body. That's not what oils do. Oils go straight to the cells, and they help your body to respond. So you'll know in one day if it's enough. And she's like, yeah, it was amazing. She said, even my bosses came to me and was like, Jade, you seem like you're really happy and you're doing really good. And she's like, yeah, I'm taking some of the oil stuff that my mom has for stress and anxiety. And so she's like, I am so relieved because now I feel like I can do it. And I said, well, then there you go. And she just took one. So I said, I don't think you're going to need to increase it. If this is how good you feel, then one a night is going to be great. So I was telling my mom about my cousin who's just a year younger than Jaden and going through the same thing. And so she left some there in New Orleans, and I was like, you really don't have to leave that many because they'll know in a day. If not, then they'll want to do one in the morning and one at night. It'll be that quick, and it'll be that different, that they'll feel so much different. And, I told her I've had people who have been having panic attacks and, was not able to attend meetings or different things and like worrying about their job. And then they started doing this, and they're like, this is a lifesaver because the medicines I tried 3 or 4 and my doctor couldn't, help me get what I needed, but it just wasn't, it was just making me feel worse. I was having side effects, but this has really changed everything. I'm like not even a little bit anxious. And I was like, great. So the point is, one, I wanted her to know that the adaptive and any of those things, you don't have to wait days and days after you sample them. That's why Allyse says call them 2 days. They'll know in 2 days whether this is working or not. And if we need to adjust it, we'll just adjust it. Okay, we'll increase it or give them another oil or such like that, right? But we just want to sample, we want to follow up, and then we want to make the adjustment or help them, move from there. So the calls that we went over for this week, not the memory stuff and all that, but about the sampling, right? Wait, is this over here?
Yeah.
So the ones about sampling, she goes over what we do with sampling, what we give out, the basics, how you deliver it, and you set the expectation, how you follow up, and I'll just click on it and we'll see what if she has a little thing. No, she doesn't for that one. Which one was that one? 6. Okay, so let me look at 7. Okay, so the samples that we give are free. We only give 1 oil at a time to focus on the results. And we only give them 1 health challenge to face at a time, right? The one that has the biggest symptoms, like the one that you'll see a result with, is the one you want to give it to them. And just give them 10 to 20 drops because they're going to use 2 drops or so, right? So if you gave them 10, that's 5 days. If you gave them 20, it's going to last them a while. They're going to know this is enough, right? If it doesn't work, we move on to another oil. And when we give it to them at that time, we tell them this is just like medication in the sense that if one doesn't work, there's other ones that work with your body in different pathways. And so just like a medication, you don't take it and go, oh, the doctor gave me this and it doesn't work, medicine doesn't work. No, you go back to the doctor, he adjusts it, or he gives you a different one. So we're going to try this oil, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. We're going to use a different one, and we're going to find the one that's best for you, that gives you the feeling and the results that you want. So just be patient, and we're going to go through that. You tell them that at the beginning, right? And then you go through that. So that was call 7. Number 8 tells you about, give them an A to Z guide. Now, I do have some A to Z guides, but if you don't, any of the modern essential ones, all she's talking about is something where they can start looking up what to use for different things, because while they have that sample, they're going to start looking at what else that oil can be used for. And then they're going to be looking up what else they can fix on themselves. And you didn't have to do any work there. They're just going to start seeing that on their own. So leave them that and give them the oil. The sample you want to give is the oil that you know is like going to be the most effective for that, and a cheaper one. You don't want them to have to spend tons of money, right? So unfortunately, if it's deep blue, that might be a little bit expensive, but you just want to give the one that you know is going to be the most effective, even if it is going to be that one that's expensive. But if there's several, try to give them one of the ones that they can afford, right? Tell them what to look for, and tell them that you're going to call them back in 2 days, right? In the 2 days, she gives you exactly what to say when you follow up. Like, did you use that oil? Have you had time to sample that? Have you had an opportunity to use it? Yes? Great. How did you like it? How has it worked for you? If no, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let you use it tonight, and then I'll get with you tomorrow and see how it works. So she has an answer for everything. Like, yes, that's awesome, blah, 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 right? And she has a flow chart, which I also have downloaded too. So let me just share that with you so that you know what it looks like. Allyse, okay, flow, sampling flow chart. Okay. Did I share it? Can you see? I don't think you can. Hold on, let me share this. Share. Where's the flow chart? Flow chart. Okay. This is her flow chart of sampling, right? Let me see. So you invite somebody to try it, you deliver the sample, you check in them on 2 days. Yes, they tried it. Was their experience awesome or was it not? Tell me about it. And then once it's awesome, you invite them to a class, right? If you check them on in 2 days and they didn't use it, no, then you redirect them. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to call you tomorrow. You call the next morning. Did they use it? Yes. Okay. Was it a good experience? Yes. Great. Was it a bad experience? No. Okay. Here's what you do. You know, if you call them the second day, they didn't use it, you call them in the morning and they didn't use it again, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back and I'm going to call you tomorrow, or I'll come on over and we'll try it and see if it works, right? Until you get them to have an awesome experience, this is your sampling and this is how you're working with them. And that's it. It's the only way you're working with them. Once they have the awesome experience, then you get to invite them to class, right? And then the same thing, call 2 days before and text 2 hours before. But this is her sampling thing. She gives you exactly what to say, how to do effective sampling, when to check in, and everything like that. So it's broken up how to do it, right? And that's why when we did the test study, it's the same thing. You're giving them the sample, you're calling them in 2 days to see how it's working, you're making sure they have a great, result. And if not, you're saying, okay, I'm gonna call back tomorrow. Or if they used it, but they didn't have a good result, you say, okay, I want you to add this, and then I'll call and check on you in 2 days again. Just give them 2 days to use it, see how it is, until they get the great result. There's one guy that's on the sleep study right now, and he said, I am waking up feeling fully refreshed and ready to go. However, I wake up at 4:30 every morning. So I was like, okay, but you're refreshed when it's time to get up for good? And he said, yeah. So that 4:30, we want to add juniper berry so that it helps you stay asleep. It's just your organ that's the organ, your lungs that heal at that time. And maybe it needs a little help, or maybe it's just healing and it's waking you up. So, he was already having a good result. So I said, okay, you don't need to increase the pills, but this is what, if that waking up at the same time all the time, and I said, has it been consistent? He said, yeah, every day. So it let me know he does have a good sleep pattern now. He is getting good quality sleep, but this organ, when it's healing, it's waking him up. So now he understands what's happening. He knows that it's not a pill or anything to do with that. It's just his body repairing. He understands that. And now, I'm following up with him in 2 more days. So he's going to get to the good result, and then he's coming back to a class. That's the pattern. So she's walking you through these steps and going through the things so that by the time you have sampled enough people on your list, you hold a class. And when those people are coming to the class, either every single one of them on that list has had a good experience and they're expecting that they're going to get things that are going to be working amazing for their body because they've already had that good experience. So that's why she doesn't want you to have a class unless they've been sampled. That's the whole purpose. And it's going to make your classes more successful and boost the outcome of your classes. So does that make sense? Does that seem like a better plan? Yeah. So next week, is there any questions about the sampling and all the stuff that we've heard so far? Jason, did you get to listen to sampling or not yet?
Hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the call on it, you mean, or just, I know in general, just from being around you enough, what the whole deal with it is.
Okay, I know you know how, but I still want you to listen to Allyse because she gives you the reasoning behind it and she gives you a lot of stuff.
Right.
So you're just like everybody else. I want you to just hear because, okay, let me ask Reba. Reba, I've told you how to do stuff and I've told you why, but when you hear it from Allyse, does it seem a little bit more effective and help you?
Yes, 100%. I love you, Stacy, but Allyse is like very clear. She goes through the scripts. She gives you the reasons why. And it's like she's recorded these calls to teach you. It's not just in conversation like with you and me. So
Yes, exactly.
And you
like
can go back and listen to it and read
right.
the script. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I want everybody to know. Like when I was the only person I knew learning her class. So like, I mean, I'd be walking the dog, I'd be in the grocery store and I'd be like listening to, okay, and pause. And I'd be like, okay, the first cool thing is they are safe. Okay. And I'd go through it and I'd be like, okay. And I'd do step one, like the first three, I'd listen to the first three, and then I go back and listen to it. Okay. And these are the ways, and I just talk to myself, because I could listen to them over and over until I got it right. And that's why she wanted to have the recordings, right? The other thing is, like she said, when you listen to call 42 and 43, you'll hear where she was not even triple presidential when she recorded that. So it was right before I met her. And she said, and I am going to be triple presidential soon. Well, bam, when I met her, she was that night, you know? So she knew, and she said, it's because I've learned how to do this effectively. And I am double presidential because I only have to work with committed and capable people. And this is why I'm teaching you to do it, because I know that these are the techniques and the skills that will make you successful. And I was like, yeah. So she's going to be a whole lot better at telling you why this is important and why I want you to listen to her, because she's a lot more practiced than I ever have been. Okay. I know it and I understand it and I put it to practice, but I want you to hear from the best person that doTERRA has out there, right? She gave them to us for free, and doTERRA asked her to do that, and she's just like, sure, why not? And that's the great thing about doTERRA, is they don't care who uses each other's things, because it's helping everyone, right? Because if you think about it, some of the bonuses that we get are bonuses paid on a pool, right? And that pool is on everybody in doTERRA in that rank. So it doesn't not just my business, it's on everybody's business. So doesn't it benefit me if I hear something from somebody else that helps? That's why Allyse doesn't care to help everybody else, because now when we're sharing that bonus pool, our bonus pools will be bigger, right? So we help each other because we want everybody else to succeed too. I don't want to keep information from you. I mean, yes, I want my team to succeed, but I want everybody else to do just as well, because it's going to help all, right? So anyhow, but yeah, that's why I'm encouraging you. Like Reba said, this is why being on camera and giving feedback is important, because you can hear from Reba. She's like, I love you. You're great. But the way that Allyse does it is what you need to hear. Okay, so that's why I'm not here re-recording her calls and telling you myself. I'm just going to let you hear from her, because it's the best way. She knows how to keep it simple. She knows what you need to say. And she's going to so motivate you. She just has a way of really charging you and going, okay, I can do this. And I hope that I can do that. And I know that I'm going to be here, and she said, like, she told us, I get hard with my team. And she does. She's like, no, I will not work with you if you can't do this, can't do that. And so when I'm like, hey, Reba, you need to not do that, she's like, oh, okay. And she knows now. She's gone through enough of the training where she sees why I told her not to do something and what to do. Because I wouldn't say something unless she needed to hear it. And unless I see that it's actually going to be detrimental to her business further, I want her to do all the best practices. So if I tell you something, trust that it's not my ego, it's not about doing it my way, it's because I see something that you're doing that's either going to cost you a person, cost you money, not be as effective. Otherwise, I'm just going to be quiet and go ahead, go do it. But what Allyse has done is tried and true. So I want you all to learn everything that I know from the best. Okay. So I hope that you'll go and you'll listen to those calls. Any questions that we have, I just wanted to chat about it every week. And the feedback from one to another is going to be good too. And then as we get through these calls and we start planning, then as everybody's implementing things, we're going to get on a call, we're going to review some of the stuff, but then we're going to hear about, hey, Reba, tell us how your class did. Hey, Jason, tell us about who you sampled. Hey, Linda, tell us about how that follow-up went. How did it go when you set up their LRP? We're going to have things to be sharing, and people are going to learn from each other too. Okay, does that sound good? So that we're all, it's good to hear other people when they go, oh, I didn't do that, the next time I'm going to do it, or, and we just share ideas, but it's the lesson of growing together is going to be a lot more helpful than you first think. But that's how I grew, was listening from other people too and sharing. And then you become more of a team together. So I can't wait till everybody can be on calls at one time. But I'm asking people who watch the replay to comment, because it boosts the team to see that everybody else is paying attention. And like, if you're like, oh, Reba, thanks for pointing that out, or, just anything that you hear, or I feel that way too, or there's just different things that you'll see. But so for the next week, what we're going to do is we're going to go through calls. I run down the other room. If I'm not in the other room, let me just scroll. I think it is, okay, we did through 10. So it's 11 through, how to invite to the class. Okay, all the way to 16. So it's 5 of them again. So 11 through 16 is all about inviting, right? And then the next group will be actually doing the class, where you just hear her doing class, exactly what you're going to be doing pretty soon is, how to do it. And the class part is broken up to a lot more classes. A lot more calls, but it's because it's like 2 and 3 minute calls where she's only teaching you part of the class. So it's a very short call. You practice, you listen to it. But we're going to take them chunks at a time, and we're going to get through these, and then you'll be implementing things that are going to help you. Oh, okay. So does anybody have anything good to share? I have something for somebody that's not on the call, but I just wanted to just give you a minute to share something good that you're proud about, that you've worked on, or that you've learned through doing this so far.
I'll share.
Okay.
I just feel more confident that I know what I'm doing and that I understand things better. And I've become like a crazy oil person.
We all want to be.
I love them. It's like a daily part of my life, all day, every day, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
And there was something else. Oh, I've been wanting to say this really quickly, because you're like, only sample one oil at a time, and I know I like gave way too many away at the first class, which I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do. But the girl that I like saw online that had this issue, and I reached out to her with Messenger, she lives in like multiple states away. So Allyse said on her call, you can give them several oils at one time to try. So I did do that. And I found a little sample guide with multiple oils in it, not the A to Z guide, but another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to have it. And so I included that. And so that's something I learned is like sample only one at a time and do it in person and call and everything. But if they're out of state, you can send multiple oils because it would take too long to like sample multiple.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because you want to give them a few that are going to work for that, and then you can tell them, hey, when you get this, call me.
I did.
Yeah, and then you'll do like so that the other people that haven't heard that yet, you didn't listen to it. Then she'll tell you when they get it, they call you, and you say, okay, use this one first, and then you do the same thing. I'll call you in 2 days. Then see how it works. Then you walk through the same process, but then at least they have the few, so that you're going to be likely to get the result that they're looking for. So that's the time that you do want to give them a few. Otherwise, it's good to do the face-to-face, at least for the first one. If you have to drop it off at their house and they're not there after you've done the initial one, that's okay. Okay, so don't feel like you have to see them. It's okay, but just make sure that you're following up, because like I said, I can't sample somebody and then I don't hear from them and I don't know how it went, and I just might as well throw them in the trash, okay? The same thing, I have a lesson that I learned, which I was sharing today or last night, was when we do the next trial studies, I will not give out samples if they do not fill out the form first, and they do not come to the class or speak to me, because they have to know what's expected. So I had somebody that wanted to do the sleep study, and then I messaged them and said, hey, I didn't get your test, your sheet results, because as soon as they fill it out, they hit submit and it automatically tells me that somebody like sent it, and I can read whose it is. So I knew who I was waiting for. So I told her I didn't get it. I didn't hear a response, And I said, hey, I need to call and check on you to see how you're doing. And if it's, I just will work through until you get the results that you're after. And then she was like, oh, I'm not interested. So like, I'm not Allyse and I'm not Debbie Gordon yet. Like, I don't have tons of money to throw out at people. I want to make sure that, hey, I'm giving you something free and I don't mind doing that. I just need the decency to have like where you were, how you're doing, and how you end up. Otherwise, if you're really not interested in feeling better, then just like take it, because I'm going to give it to the people that connect to it. So I want to have that expectation set up in front, because it was somebody else on my team. So I really didn't speak to them at first. And then they couldn't get on the call. So then they really didn't know. And then here I am messaging them, and it was unclear expectations. So I've learned my lesson from that. And I'm like, okay, next time this is what we do. And that's just, I'm not going to cave on that, because then I know that they knew what's expected. And then I'm going to have my team people follow up with them instead of me. So that one, it's their team. They know that person, and now that person's being trained to do it, right? And I'll teach it, but the person will learn and they'll do that. But that way it's just a good experience. So, but yeah, so Reva's been doing great. And it's okay that you learn along the way. But as you can see, like, she listened to the call and she's like, okay, Allyse said to send out a couple. She did it. Great. She's going to get the results. And she's keeping up with the person until they get the result that they're after. Then she could be like, hey, since you got a good result, maybe I can have a class with you and we could just chat on Zoom. And then she could do her own class, And then they're ready to enroll and say, well, what else could we address? I mean, it's just going to be a pattern. It's just going to be a system, and you're just going to get used to it, and it's just going to start to flow naturally. Like, I saw this in Reva from the day I first met her. I knew that once she got accustomed to knowing a bit about it, and I knew once she felt comfortable, she was going to it was a natural force for her. And even people that I know weren't that natural at first, like they really weren't into health, although they liked being healthy. I can tell you that when people start to use things in their home, and then they start to teach themselves to use it for everything, then, like she said, now it's a natural part of her life every day. That happens only when you're used to doing it. And that's why doTERRA pays you for having a loyalty reward order, because unless you're using it, you really don't know. And they don't care if it's soap, shampoo, conditioner, oil. You need to know about their company and what they have so that you can speak about it. And once you do, you're like, oh, I need to go to the oils. I need to go to the oils. And then people start to know you as the crazy oil lady. And that's good. So that at least they know who you are. And they know if they got a question, they start coming to you. And it'll stick in their mind. And when they hear somebody, it'll be like, well, my friend Reba, I don't know, but she knows all this stuff, and that'll start happening. And I know with Reba, I know that she's one of those people that shows you she is capable. She's like, no, I want to learn how to do this. You want to find the people that are like, show me and then let me try, tell me what to listen to, and I will try to do it. It's okay if I screw up one time, two times, but I am learning and I am trying to improve every time. The thing is that they're seeking out the information you're in and that they're trying to learn it. And then everything keeps on going smoothly from there. So I see that, and every time I see Reba do that, I'm like, yay. So that's great. Does anybody else have anything else that they've heard on the call? And like she said, I just want to point out how she said she's feeling more confident. The calls will definitely make you feel confident in what you're doing. There's no doubt about it, because she tells you every single thing to do, everything to do. So, Jason, do you have anything that you noticed with the calls or things that you like that it points out?
Am I on again? Sorry.
Yeah.
This is like the first time I've used this. So, I just think it's really interesting that you have, you guys are very lucky to have someone who is so successful, basically giving you a step-by-step system. It's like hand-holding pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That she's broken it down, I think, as much as she possibly can, so that as many people as possible can benefit from it. And it's basically just follow the steps, and I think there's going to be steps that people are going to get stuck on because they're afraid, or I don't know. I could see that happening, but I guess as long as you follow the steps, I don't see how it can't work, honestly. You know what I mean? And especially you're doing this to help people kind of like hold their hand through the hand holding almost. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like, do the work. That's it. And it works. Obviously this lady went diamond in 3 months and then blue diamond in 7 months. She knows what she's doing when it comes to business. And that was just through the first 5 calls. I was like, this is crazy how almost easy it sounds. It's just do the work, you know what I mean? And not be afraid to do it. And, find the time to do it. Basically. That's it. That's what I've gotten through 5 calls. I was like, and there's 50, right? I don't even know how many there are, but
yeah,
that's just what my thoughts through the first 5 calls, basically. Yeah.
And that's what I want people to see. Is just in 5 calls, you can be like, wow, I can do this. It's simple.
Yeah, it's easy. She's broken it. I think that's her strength, is that she makes things that might seem complicated. She breaks them down to a point where they're pretty easy. You do the steps. You make a list of people. You rank them, and then like everything you're talking about, it's just do the work, and it works.
And until you put it to practice, you're not really going to know. But once you start doing the first sampling and stuff, and you start going through the script, you are like, wow, that worked. Okay, I got through it. It becomes easy. And I can tell you, I still have fears, right? She has one call towards the middle. It's on a calling tree, and it's contacting everybody in your downline. Now, you're supposed to get your team leaders to do it, but I know that some of these teams that I have, I kind of built them, or the leader that I placed underneath them is no longer active. So either way, me or Reba or me and Robin or me and, whoever the leader, me and my mom, whoever it is, we'll be reaching out to people that we don't know, which is always scary, kind of. But we'll be reading through a script, and we'll address them either if they used to have an LRP, if they never had an LRP, if they're a constant customer, but they don't have an LRP, just where they don't have a wholesale account that they order. So it's just addressing the people, and then you address people that have not ordered in a while, and you go through a script to help them start ordering again. But the reason why I wanted to do it is she said she had a builder do this who was, just trying to grow and strengthen her team. And she doubled her volume from going through all the inactive people, and she reached a rank when she didn't think that was close. She wasn't close. So it made me go, wow, okay, if I'm brave enough and I contact these people I don't know, my only reason that I do have some reservation is because I was doing the monthly text and the monthly emails, and some of these people were like, hey, can you remove me? So since that's kind of fresh, it kind of makes me hesitant to reach out to them. But I do know I want to do it, and I can just be like, oh, I removed you. Sorry, I was just trying something new. Do that. I know it's for other people, and if people want to be removed, that's okay. But I wanted to talk to you about blah blah blah, whatever. I'm just going to use your script because I know that everything Allyse has recorded is because it works, and I'm willing to put all my faith that the lady who's gotten that far knows that she's teaching coding and that it can apply to public. So I'm gonna put on my little boots and try to use all my courage oils and do that thing too. So I'm just telling you that even though I've done this a while, and even though you all think, and most things don't scare me anymore at the business because I've practiced it and I've done it, I still have some blocks or some fears sometimes too. So I'm just like you. It's okay. So anyway, I hope that gives the rest of you the gumption to go ahead and start listening to them steadily. And that to let you know they don't take forever to listen to. And the last thing I'll share is Robin's not on the call, but she has booked a class for January 11th. And she was like, hey, I need you to just train me up before then, after the new year, train me before the 11th. And I said, everything you need to know is going to be in these calls. Actually, how to even teach the class is in these calls. So promise me that you'll start listening to them and I will train you in the new year. And she said, okay. I said, your first assignment, besides listening to the calls, is get a list of everybody that will be in that class and start sampling them. Because before that class happens, they each have to have a good experience to qualify to be in that class. So she said, okay, I will do it. I said, these are the calls that go through how to do that. And I promise you, if you do it, that will be really successful. So she was like, thank you so much. I look so forward to, and she was kind of hesitant. She's had there's several people that start their business, then slack off and start, and then they're like, I want to do it, but I don't know. And so I think last week's call gave her a lot of courage, and then it gave her some oomph to start pushing forward. And she's getting courageous and she's putting it out there. And she already booked the date and talked to the people to host it and everything. So I'm really proud of Robin because she's a very good, caring person, and I can see this is going to do wonders for her, like her morale, her belief in herself, and knowing that she could do it and feel confident. It's going to just totally turn her business around. And she's got some good people already, like Riva's on her team. But I think she's going to do great. So these are what the calls can do. And we will see what happens with everybody else. So same time next Monday. And just listen to those next calls on the invite me to call. Okay. All right, you guys, have a good night.